Hi Ashish, good morning.
Hey, hi, Vinish. Good morning. Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, so yesterday we have seen variables, how to change the value within the variable from integer to string to integer, and various ways of basically parsing the values, right? So those are basically integer to string, which we were doing. Those were basically we were parsing one value into another type of data type. Okay. So today we will be continuing with the data type itself. What are data types and its uses in Salesforce, different types of data types. Okay. So let me share. Just 1 minute. Did I give any assignment yesterday? Like, I think one assignment I have given. I don't remember. Do you guys remember if I've given any assignment? So, in the meantime, you can, if you are having any queries for that, just we can discuss. I'm just getting the link where exactly this notepad link I'm not getting. Okay, where which I was sharing yesterday. Meanwhile, I will be searching that. Okay. You have any questions or anything from the assignment, you can check. Okay. Okay. So we were basically discussing data types, right? So data types are of two types, primitive and non-primitive. Okay. Primitive data types are basically the one which Salesforce provides you, and the non-primitive data types are basically one which you will be creating as a developer, your own data type. Okay. So two types of data types. Primitives is the system provided data types. What all type of data types we have deal with till now? Any idea? Like while working with admin topic, you have dealt with some sort of data types. Could you name some of them while creating
Uh,
uh
s- String, boolean, integers, and all.
yeah, string, boolean, integer, and
Mm.
Decimal also.
sorry,
Decimal.
decimal. Okay, yes, decimal,
Date.
date, yes. Any other data types that you have created while Boolean already told? Okay, integer. So mainly, yeah, these are the major types. Okay. Then whatever fields you have created, okay, whenever we have created the fields. So all those data types which you are getting while creation of the fields. Here we have created the fields, right? Go to setup, object manager, any object, let's say account itself, fields and relationship. If you're creating any new fields, okay, if you're creating any new field, you're seeing some sort of field type. Field type is nothing but it's not exactly the data type, okay? It says like if it is a text, this will also be a string, okay? Text is not a data type, string is the data type, okay? Whereas like in text area also, string is the data type. Data type is a string itself, okay? But the length differs. In text, I think we have limitation of uh, in text also, I think we can create 255 characters. In text area also, we can create 255 character or we can see. Yeah, it is if it is taking 255 while saving. So both of them will be taking 255 characters. Whereas text area long, if you see, it is taking 1,31,000 characters. 1,31,072 characters limit in the text area. But that doesn't mean this is some different sort of variable. This is also a string variable. Okay, this is also a string variable. Its data type is string itself. Text area rich. Okay, if you see this allows enter formatted text, and the limit for this is also 1,31,072 characters on the separate line. Text encrypted. This will again be a text itself. So all these five, even including pick list, even pick list is this all data type is string data type. This all data type which you're seeing is a string data type. Okay. URL is also a string data type. Then we have other data type called as email. Email is also written in the form of string. So this will also be a string data type. Date is different. Currency is in form of number, right? So currency in Salesforce, we don't have anything means this is Salesforce defined data type, okay? Whereas like in in actually like when you select this in this field you will be entering numeric value itself like $10,000 or $5,000. So this data type ultimately will become your number field. So currency number percentage is also sort of uh, numeric value only. So currency number and phone number is also a numeric type. Okay. Phone number is also a numeric type. So these are basically integer types. Integer type you can say or long type. Okay. Based on like how many in numbers you can decide decimals as well. Okay. In number if you're selecting, you're having decimal places. So if you are not selecting decimal, if decimal place is zero, that means it's integer. Okay, if you're adding some decimal value, two, three, anything, one, two, three, anything, then it becomes a decimal data types. So it automatically converts it into decimal data types. Okay, so these all and checkbox is nothing but your boolean. Okay, checkbox is nothing but a boolean. Boolean is a data type which stores either true or false. Okay, so various types of data types that we can see is let me write it here. Okay, it's not. I'll write it in separate window. Okay, non-primitive and primitive. Primitive is system defined data types. We have just seen system has given us some data types. So all such data type which is acceptable by system as it is. Okay. The these are called as system defined data types. This is user defined. Primitives, we have just seen example. String, Boolean, yeah. Date. Date is different. Date time is different. Okay. Date is different. Date time is different. Okay. Then there was also a data type called as time. Then we have uh, then we have Boolean. In Boolean we are having checkbox. Right. In string we were having text. area, etc. Okay, text area long, and then we are having number or integer. These are some basic types, right? Then what are non-primitive types? Non-primitive types is something that you will be creating on your own. So users in Salesforce will create their own classes, Apex classes. Okay. And in this Apex classes, we mostly create some field or some objects of our own, what means own type, in the sense, when we require some thing to do, let's say to create an object to store value for a school data. Okay, I want to create my own database, or just like we are creating the objects in Salesforce, right? We are creating classes in programming. In programming, we are creating classes, and classes acts as a blueprint. It acts as a blueprint for creating objects in programming. Okay, now these all terms you will, if you are not getting, no need to worry. We are going to see Apex class in detail. So at that particular time, you will be able to understand. Okay, at this time, just keep in the mind Apex class, or any class which we are going to write in Apex, is basically a template. And based on that, we can do some operations. And repeated operations can be performed with the help of classes and methods. So classes and methods, we will come to it soon after completing this basic topics, data types. Okay. So primitive data type, you are going to get already from the system. Non-primitive data types, you will be getting from the on your own. You have to declare on your own. So primitive data types, here are also the some examples. Syntax will be any sort of primitive data type. Okay, this data type means any sort of primitive data type. It can be string, integer, double, or decimal, whatever it is. Okay, then we will be having your variable name. Okay, this is the syntax for writing any primitive, declaring any primitive data type, and then your value. Okay, so here, if you see, integer is equal to numeric, means integer can contains numeric data like 10, 300, or 7,000, or -10 is also an integer, right? String will be, string type of data will be something which you are writing within this single inverted comma, or single quotes. Okay, this is called as single quotes or single inverted comma. Anything that you write within this single quotes is assumed to be a string. And then if you're writing it, then you have to explicitly declare it as like that variable as a string, or while directly you can use it within your system debug statement. So system will understand anything written within this single quotes is assumed to be a string. Okay, anything written within this single quotes, anytime, like you're writing something here in the org, right? In the dev console. Here we have written first name is equal to Ashish, last name is equal to Kumar, and then we have done this like system debug. So in system debug, we have displayed some value from the directly from the variable, like last name. Directly we have placed it here, but some value we have written here in the single quotes. So the value which you are writing within the single quotes will be your will be assumed as a string. System will accept it as a string. So similarly, if you see this thing, greetings, here we have declared greetings separately, and greetings we are assigning. Welcome to Salesforce, we are assigning welcome to Salesforce and putting it into the greetings variable, right? So if we have declared it as string, it can only take the string value that we have seen yesterday. Numeric value, when we try to place it in the greetings, it was not taking. That is, system will say this is the not the correct data type. and some mismatch error it will give you. All right. So string, always you have to write it in Apex, always you have to write it in single quotes, not double quotes. In some of the Apex, some of the programming languages, strings are written within these double quotes, but in Apex, strings are always written in single quotes, always. Okay. So this has to be taken care. Then we have double. Double will be some fractional data. Double or decimal will be some fractional data. Okay. Both. Double is also data type. Decimal is also a data type. Okay. Both are having some decimal points like 10.43, 5.65. If such value, if you need to store, then you have to declare it as double or decimal. Okay. Then this student detail, such sort of data type does not exist. Okay. So in in Salesforce, if you want to create such sort of data type, you can create it like a object. Okay, you can create it like an object, Salesforce object. We have created as an admin. So student object you can create student underscore underscore C, and then student detail something you can create something like this variable. Okay, here I will write it custom object. A custom object. Then we are having account object already existing. Okay, it is also a data type. It is the data type of type object. Okay, it is a data type of type S object. So it will store account record value. How it will be stored? Let's go back to the org home here. Some account records. Anyone facing any doubts can ask me in between. Okay, and you can interrupt. So let's say some application, if I'm going to sales application or Naukri application. Let's go to Naukri application, or in this match we have created Tata hiring, right? Let's go to Tata hiring application. In Tata hiring application we are having some sort of objects. So this objects now having multiple fields of different data types. So when we are creating a new record in the object, it is asking for the values to be entered into those particular field value. And when we are creating a complete record, that complete record is stored in the database as a single value. Okay. And it is stored in the form of account records, account as object record. So system understand this record. System will understand this record. Let's say account value we are passing as uh, Coca-Cola. Okay. Then rating is hot and type is prospect. Ownership is public. Okay. Industry is food and beverages. Some values which is like the only one value it says like mandatory here, which is coming with a star mark. Remaining all values I have just entered just to show you like it holds multiple values, right? So saving this value. And when this record is getting created, it is being stored as a single S object record. Okay. And in that S object record, it is having multiple field value. So this field value here, each field value is of different data type, but altogether, the data type of this particular record is of account type. It is of account type. That is why here we are seeing this account ACC as primitive data type. This will also be contact record. If you are storing, it will be stored as a contact. When we will start with programming, we will see how to create a account record programmatically. Okay, when we will start with writing code, we will see how to create this account record programmatically. So just with single lines, a few lines, you will be able to create your account record and contact record with the help of Apex. Just your anonymous window. From the anonymous window, you will be able to create. That's all right. So Boolean is true, false. Uh, date, any date you are storing. So you need to make use of this date function. Okay, date, any fields you are storing, you should make use of the date function. New instance, let's say, uh, if I want to save any date here, I'll remove these values. Okay, I'll remove these values. So date is the data type, and Christmas date, right? So I want to store the date dot instance, and you need to pass the value in the format of you need to pass the value in the format of DDMMYY or whatever format. So let's say 2025 comma 12 comma 25. So if it is allowing me this value, okay, so let's print this system dot debug system dot debug execute. Method does not exist or incorrect signature. Now why it is giving me this error is because the value which I have assigned to this particular field, it is not in the correct format. Okay, it is not in the correct format, or I think date dot instance execute. So for this, if I need to understand why exactly I'm using which method I need to use. You need to go and check the date class. Date is a class. Okay. It will give you date class in Apex. Date class in Apex. Okay. From where this instance method or instance of method is coming from, it comes from the system reference guide. It's not like something you will write and it will work on its own. It's not like that. Anything system has defined, that only we can use and we can define the date. So now to use or create any date, we have some methods here. These are some of the methods to create the date. So uh new instance we need to use, a new instance we need to use. So this is the method here. You don't need to remember this method all the time. You just need to remember there is a method that you can use while declaring the date. Okay, don't need to remember because there are hundreds of data types and each data type is having some 20 methods. So all the time, if these things, you don't need to your keep it in your mind all the time. Okay, don't need to keep it in the mind. Only thing is, you need to understand is if there is a data type, it will have its own class. If it is a primitive data type, it will have its own class defined in this Apex reference guide. Always go to the Apex reference guide, come back to this method. Which method it is? New instance. Okay, so it's new instance. Let's create it new instance. Okay, rather than instance, let's create it new instance. Now it is having, what is the format it is having? Year, month, day. Okay, so the year, month, day format is correct in this case. Now new instance method got corrected, and it is able to, date is the class. So how I'm getting date is the class here. This is the date class. Okay, so date class, always it will be like whatever is the class name, you will be able to get it from here. So date is the class. So class dot its method, date method is here. Class dot method you need to use. Class dot method, this is the class, this is the method. Okay, method, whatever is the input it is requiring, we are passing those inputs. So year, month, day, we are passing, and now this will work. It will not throw an error. Okay, now it will work. It will not throw an error. Execute it, debug. Now if you see here, it is giving me the date and time is in 00 format. So ideally they're using date and date time field, both same variables, and when they're just using date, the time they're always setting it to 0000, that is 12 a.m. This time means 12 a.m. Okay, so any date like if you need to use date time, let's say if you want to store the date time as well, okay, you can check the date time class. Let's use this date time method. So date time, here is the date time class. Okay. So date time, let's say if I want to store the class with the day and the time. Yeah, here if you see year, month, day, hour, minute, second. So if I use this particular class, date time class, go to date time, use it as date time. Here, time. Okay. Let's say Xmas celebration time. Okay, I'm just changing the variable. I want to give some value where it is like 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. I need to pass in the hour, right? Hour, what it is saying. Okay, let's pass it like 1820, right? It will be 20. So hour will be 20 and 8 p.m. or let's say 8:30 hour seconds. No, sorry, hours, minute and second. 8:30. Exactly the 8:30 is the time I want to give. So I'm passing the 8 in this format. 20 is like on the clock. We have 24 hours. So 20 is considered as 8 p.m., right? 30 is like 30 minute and 0 second. I'm just adding it. Okay, execute this. Instead of Xmas, I need to display Xmas celebration time. Execute this. Okay, previously we were not seeing this value in the time field. Now I will also get some, I should, if this is working fine, it should also assign some value. Okay, now here 20, if I have used 20, I think it has changed it automatically with the help of GMT. Okay, it has also already changed it 5.5 hours before. Okay, because we are already ahead or it okay, it is showing me the time in GMT format, I think. It is showing me the time in GMT form. Yeah, it is showing the time in the GMT time zone. So 8:30 India time is basically 3 p.m. GMT. Okay, it is basically 3 p.m. GMT. So method, this method, whatever it is doing, it is giving me like construct a date time from integer representation of the specified year, month, day, hour, minute, and second in the time zone. And this will convert you something. This will convert it in the GMT time zone. And that's what it is happening. We are 5.5 hour ahead of GMT, right? We are 5.5 hour ahead of GMT. So 3 p.m. plus 5.5 is 8:30. So that's what we have given 8:30, but it is displaying me the time in the GMT format. Everyone getting this? Why it is showing me 15? Because we have the system will only be showing in this particular case the time in the GMT format. That's what it is telling. Any and our country. So our country currently we have set in the org, we have set our country local as from where I have set it. I will show you from where you can change the local. To change the local, you need to go to company information. Okay, company information, go to company information. And here, if you see, you are having default time zone. If you see here, you are having default time zone. Default time zone is plus 5:30. That is GMT plus 5:30. So we are ahead, uh, 5.5 hours ahead of GMT. If we set this, I'm not going to change it. Okay. But if you change this to something at GMT, if you change this something at GMT, it will show me the exact time. But right now, I'm not interested in that. Okay. I'm just giving you this for any case you are dealing with date time and you're seeing like the date is not coming in the right format. You can come and change the default local setting in your company information. This will you will always find in your company information. Not just that, currency also, when we are creating any record, we are seeing the currency. We were seeing the currency in the Tata employees salary, right? You have created the Tata employee salary. So now in this currency format also, you are seeing this rupee symbol globally, whatever you are seeing. Okay, rupee symbol always all the time. You can change such settings from your. If I change this instead of English India, if I change this to English USA, let's say uh, English United States. Now save it, save this. Okay, now my locale for the currency is changed. Similarly, if I refresh this page, you can see the dollar symbol, the rupee symbol has been changed with the help of the dollar symbol. So any time, let's say in your org, you're working and dealing with the currencies changing or the time changing, globally, it can be handled with the help of currency local and the default time zone. Okay, default time zone and the currency local. But this company information has to be changed only by checking with the senior business person of the organization, because this is going to change all the times, in the sense like whatever is your scheduled things. Okay, it will also work according to the time which you are setting. So let's say earlier it was scheduled for Indian 12 p.m. Now if you change the time, it will start working for the US, or whatever time zone you have selected, it will start working for that particular time zone. All right, so I will switch it back to Indian English. Okay, and save it. All right, let's go back to the slides. Okay. Date and date time we have seen. So as an assignment, you can do it now if you want. You can store some value in the date time. Okay, you can store some value in the date time, or uh, or let's take it non-primitive. This you can take as an assignment. Okay, as an homework. Store the value in the date and date time, and display it on the screen using the debug console. Okay, if you're having some time after the non-primitive, you can do it now. So what is non-primitive data types? It's like Apex class. Any value you need to store in your own format. This we have seen previously. Uh, account, account, some value we have stored and it gets stored in the database. Uh, Different field values, everything remains as it is. Similarly, if you want to store some value of your own data type, you can create your own data type like a Apex class, a public class student, and it has some variables, let's say first name, last name, and student age. This is the only, the class is not having any method for now. Okay, since we have not jumped into the Apex class, just uh, uh, just understand like this is the structure of an Apex class. Okay, it will also have some methods, it will have constructors, but for now, this class we are just using to store some field values like first name, last name, and student age. So in this case, this uh, these values, when we create a student class instance, we can store, let's say, different instances. One for student A, and let's say his name is Raj, and last name is Mishra, and student age is 15. Similarly, another student is Ajay Kumar, and age is also 15. So some different instance you want to create, you will be creating it with the help of the Apex class. We will come to the Apex class. So just for our understanding, Apex, there are two types of data types, and both have its own pros and cons. Like when we are already having something out of the box available, we are not going to create our own data type. If it's only needed, then we will be creating it with the help of the Apex class. Okay. So what's this assignment says? Yeah, you can, yeah, let's do it in the org. First thing you are going to do is store the value in the date field and display it. Okay. Store the value in the date field or the date time field and display it on the debug log. Today's date you can display. Okay. Instead of using this new instance method, I want you to display today's date. Okay. You know the method of how exactly we will be finding the today's date. So one method we have already seen. I don't want to use this new instance method. I want to see the today's date and display it on the screen with the help of system.debug. Will you all be able to do this?
You mean system dot today only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever it is, you have to search it from the date class. You have to search it from the date class. You have to pick it from the date class, and system.today will give you today's date for sure. But you can pick some value from the date class using some date method.
With the date classes, we should use a compulsory new instance, right, Ashish? Do we have any more still?
You can check it, like if it's there in the date class, today's date is there or not.
Okay.
Today's date and time is there or not. Date class or date time class, anything you can use. I just want to see you make use of the date or date time class, not system.today. Okay. Make use of date or date time class method to displace today date. So Aditi, since you are new, in case if you are facing any questions, you feel free to ask. Okay. Yeah, okay. Vinesh has done. Very good. Yeah. Divya has done. Yeah. This will also work. True. And Ramesh. Okay. So all the three of you have done, you all have used three different types. Okay. Three different types. And let me see if I can share the three different types here on the screen. Okay. So these are three different ways you have done. See, same thing, displaying it with different ways. Since you all have done it separately, you all have used some your own thing, and you have done something differently. Aditi, would you like to share? You can share it with me personally by selecting me in the chat if you want. Okay, so basically, let me start sharing the this thing if I can share. First thing, first Vinesh has shared. What was that? It is using a date today. Okay, date dot today method. It will also work. Okay, date dot today method. This will work. So now, let me share this screen only. Date. This is the date class. Date dot today. Date dot today. When we are saying, it will return the current date in the current user's time zone. This is the method which Vinesh you have used. Okay, this will also work. And then I think let me check the other two. So yeah, date time. Date time dot now. Date time dot now is date time dot now. This is the date time class. Date time dot now. It will show the today's date as well as today's current time. What exactly the time is. Okay. Date time dot now returns the current date time based on the GMT calendar. Okay. So it will be showing it in the format of 15 something, whatever, not 15. Basically, it is morning 8,
Mm.
so it will be 3.
316 like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 3. It will be something 316. Okay, so whatever it is, it will be showing in the GMT format. And then,
It's system
uh,
time, right?
sorry,
System time it's showing 316.
no, it is showing GMT time. GMT. GMT is your, we are 5.5 hours ahead of GMT, right? We are
Yes.
GMT plus 5.5 hours. So we are having another thing is, another thing that we are having is this system time will always be in the GMT time. If you're saying, you can understand it that way. You can understand it that way. But your system time or your org with the platform which you are using, that time is always decided by the owner or the admin of that particular platform. Just now I have shown it from company settings, you can decide. So whatever time you set it, the local which you set it, it will become the system time. So system time and GMT time is not same. Okay. So in your case, yeah, in but yeah, in Ramesh, I think you have used system dot now. Okay, system dot now. That will also work. System.now is like system.today or system.now are system methods. Okay, system is also a class. System is also a class, and it also has some methods. Okay, so it is also giving the same thing, I guess. It is giving 3:14, that is like the current system timing, or GMT timing. Maybe that is GMT timing or system timing. Maybe they're matching the system timing with that. But to understand more about the system methods, you have to see the system class Apex. Okay, the system is also a class. Okay, here system class. Now the methods which you have used, system.now, it is not a date time method, whereas it is a system class method. Okay, same question, I think Divya also asked whether we can use system.today. So I told no, system.today we don't need to use, but uh, like system.today or system.now is basically the methods of system class. It's not the method of your date time class. All right. So here is the now method which you have used just now, and it is returning the current date time and in the GMT time zone. So this method also returns the same thing. It is also returning the GMT time zone. Anything this method is doing, it is described here. Okay, if you want to see it in this more detail, here is the more detail about it. How exactly you need to use. Okay, the value it is returning in the date time format. That is, yeah, it is returning in the date time format. And uh, the usage that you have just made was from system.now. All right. Now we are also having system.today. We are also having system.today. Let's see. Where is this? We're also having a system.today. Yeah. System.today. Here it is. It will only return the date. Today's date. Returns the current date in the current user's time zone. Whatever time zone he is, if he is writing this code, running this code, so in his current time zone, this is dependent on your local. If in your local, if you're in US time zone, it will show like currently, let's say if it is 8 p.m. 15th of July in US, it will show that particular time in the system. Okay, and so on. So this is your uh, date, current date, current date and time that we have seen. How exactly we will be executing it. So let's use few more standard class. What can be decimal class? Okay, let's create some decimal value. Decimal is the class. It is having two methods. It is saying like usage is decimal methods and rounding mode. Rounding mode is specifies the rounding behavior for numerical operations capable of discarding precision. It can basically the round the value which is after decimal point, I guess. Yeah. So here if you see ceiling method, uh, ceiling method, what it is doing is it is putting it, if the value is 5.5, it is putting the value as rounding off value greater than. Ceiling will always move the value to the higher side. If it is 5.1, 5.5, it is moving it to 6. Okay, till 5.9, it will move it to 6. Then if it is 1.1, it is moving it to 2. Okay, if it is minus 1.1, it is moving to minus 1, because if you create this number line, right? 1.1, 1 minus 1 is greater than minus 1.1, right? Because it will go on the negative side. So ceiling will always put it on the right side. Whatever comes on the number line on the right side, that value it will display. And then input minus 2.7 Ceiling round mode is -2. So here also -2 is greater than -2.7, right? So that is why it is showing me this thing. And then what we are having, this is basically rounding mode. Uh, floor is also floor and down is also almost looks similar to me. Actually, ceiling will be pushing to the up. Ceiling is above, right? And floor is below. So floor will always show me the below or lower value. So if you see in this case, floor, when we are standing on on floor, right? Floor is below us and ceiling is above us. So if you remember this, you will be able to get like which value you need to display, the higher value on the rounded value or the lower value. Based on that, you can use this function. So in this particular case, floor is, let's say for 5.5, if the value is standing at 5.5, the value below it, if we want to show, we can use this floor function, rounding mode dot floor. Okay. This will display the value which is lower and so on. So this is rounding function. Then if you just want to display absolute value, I think absolute value is also something which is giving you the whole value of a decimal point. Whole value of a decimal is basically, if I go back to here in my developer console, decimal uh, D1, let's say D1 is my variable, and I want to store it here 12.12. Okay, this is my value. Now, if I do uh, D1 dot ABS, this is a decimal method. The and I want to store it, I want to display it, let's say system dot debug. Directly I want to show display this D1 dot absolute value. I can do this way. Okay, let's execute. It should show me only 12. That's what my expectation is. Execute highlighted. No, it is showing me 12.12. So I think this is absolute value will show the complete decimal value. Absolute value, complete decimal value it is showing. If I just need to see, yeah, let's do it the rounding. Let's do the rounding. Okay, instead of doing the absolute, let's do the rounding. Instead of ABS method, I will use round method. Okay, execute highlighted. So D1 is storing 12.12, right? D1 is storing 12.12. I want to see the value only the first part. And the after 0.12, whatever value is there, I don't want to see. So let's say instead of making this point 12.12, I will make it like 12.34. Okay, again I will do it. So only the first part I will be seeing. Execute highlighted. Only the first part it should display. Right? 12.12 was a bit confusing in this case. Only the first part. Second part we were having 0.34. So the first part is only having 12 and it is showing me the rounded value. Okay, let's make it the value a little bit higher after 5 or 6, 6.4. So what will happen in this particular case? Let's see. Okay, it is rounding up because since the value is greater than 12.5, it is rounding me up to the value 13 by its own because that's the function it is system has given to round up the value. We know any value which is greater than 12.5 we are rounding off in our normal arithmetics. We are basically doing it this way only, right? We are rounding it off to any value which is above 5.5 to the higher value. And
Some.
sorry, saying something, Ramesh?
Sorry, actually unmuted.
Hello. Okay, so hope everyone clear. You can do your practice. Practice in the sense, go through different data types in this reference guide, okay, and do your own research, like what function of decimal, date, time, integer I can use. Okay, this will give you an idea to. So only deal with six data type, six, five or six data type which you have just discussed: Boolean, string, integer. Okay. Uh, then you are having date time, and decimal. So these six class you can deal with and go through its method. If you are done with those six classes, then you can go through the other classes in this reference library. Okay, so every method will give some of the description what exactly it is doing. So single line sometimes it is not uh, understood. So you can do a little bit more on Google what exactly ABS is doing. Okay, like we have just now used it. ABS, yeah, here if you, okay, ABS is absolute value. It will drop the negative. If it is having a negative symbol, it will drop the negative symbol. Absolute value. Okay, so s- yeah, I think six standard we have this thing. So you have shared something, Vinesh. Okay. Yeah, this is what you are. Okay, this is perfect. You have used all the uh, different types of variable to store the value, and you have displayed it. Okay, so yeah, everyone, I would request you to go through these six or seven different primitive methods which we have just used, and display the value. Let me just share this, which Vinesh has just shared. He has used six or five different variables: string, integer, decimal, boolean, and date. Okay. String, he has stored a string. Age, he has stored a number. Then salary also, he has stored a number which is of decimal types. Okay. Then boolean is active is equal to true, and date today is equal to date dot today. Okay. So five different variables, and then he has displayed this on the screen using system.debug method. So system.debug method, on the backside we are able to see all the examples. So this is like five different data type you have practiced at once, displayed at once. So it will give you some confidence that to work with the different sort of data types. Okay, all of you can also do this sort of different experiments. Okay, do different experiments with the different methods of these data types, like string dot name. Sometimes we can use different methods as well of the string type. Okay, so thank you everyone. Let's stop for today and we'll connect tomorrow. All right, thank you.